the molestation and rape influenced the way you dated and what you look for in men when you started to get older, teenage years, and started to interact with guys?
That's a great question, because that's where I'm at as far as want to help others. You have to get rid of all of that. Not just say it, but it has to be gone from the inside. I didn't trust me. And I didn't trust them on this end, but I thought if I had sex with you, you'll love me. So I went from that not trusting to if I say yes, then you'll love me. Because see, that's what I was lacking.
The love.
I lacked love. And from all of that, because if you start having resentment, then you lose that love because you don't think people love you.
Welcome to today's episode of Relationship Talk with the Geths. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button so you won't miss out on the new content. Personal stories of triumph over adversity can inspire and provide hope to other people who are facing similar challenges. There's something about knowing that someone else has overcome difficult circumstances that can motivate us to persevere through our own struggles. Sharing personal struggles also helps break down stigmas surrounding certain issues. It can reduce feelings of isolation and shame, and instead can foster a sense of community and understanding. That's why I'm especially happy to have today's guest. I would like to welcome Sister Betty Hunt to Relationship Talk with the Geths. She has so many experiences and she's overcome so many trials. We're blessed to have her here with us to share her knowledge and wisdom and offering hope to those of us currently going through, because life be lifing. So, Sister Betty, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your willingness to share your story. So, I just want to start. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood? Where were you born and raised, and who raised you?
Okay. I was born in Hartwell, Newburgh.
Okay.
Pretty much everyone would know. Raised by my mother and father, really. My mother did most of the raising because, back in our day, that's what was going on. The mother did the raising, the father was out there. In my case, they both worked, but my mother did most of the raising. My dad only spoke up when he needed to. And you didn't want him to speak up too all the time.
No, because if Daddy got to speak up, he ain't just going to speak, huh? Were you raised in church?
All my life. I mean, my background is church. My mother would have us come in and sit on that seat, all of us. It was 6, 7 of us. And we all had to sit on that seat. Well, actually, 6 actually came. But we had to sit on that seat with her, and we wouldn't open our mouth because she would take that hand, and if she go back, it's going to hit something.
She hit all 7 of y'all at the same time.
Oh, yeah. My mother, she was a small, petite woman, but she did not play. And we didn't give her a reason to hit us either.
I got you. Can you remember what was taught in your church about dating and sex? We've done an episode on church and sexuality, but what was taught? What did they tell y'all?
Nothing. Nothing.
It wasn't even brought up?
It wasn't even brought up. I mean, looking back, the ministers that I was under, the different minister that you all are under today, but the ministers that I was under, they was older, so they just, I guess like back in the old days, they'll read a scripture and
just preach on it?
No, it wasn't preaching on the scripture.
Oh, all right. Read the scripture and talk about what they want to talk about.
Talk about what they wanted to talk about. And that was it. That was it. I didn't know anything about being saved. I didn't know anything about, the only thing I've ever heard and always stuck with me was that it was going to be fire next time. It wasn't going to be the flood. It was going to be fire.
You remember hearing that?
That's the only thing I ever remember.
Did you go to Sunday school? Or?
We went to Sunday school because back when we was going, it was once a month or twice a month?
I remember.
Yeah.
Because it was twice a month when I was little.
Okay, so it was, I can't remember if we actually had church twice a month or once a month. But Sunday school was every month, every week. So we went to Sunday school.
And the same stuff, like you don't remember them talking about dating or
never.
relationships or
Never.
anything?
Never.
So who did you talk to about dating when you started to like somebody?
Nobody. I've never talked to anyone about this.
Everything you learned, you had to learn on your
I
own?
learned the hard way.
What was your first sexual encounter and was it consensual?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. I never forget the first time that happened to me, and the times after that, it was by a family member, and we lived in the house down in the woods, or down in the flat, and my mother would have him take care of us. I don't know where she would be going, but anyways, he was the babysitter.
How old was he?
Let me see. I was like 6 and 7. So I know he had to be in his teens. Of course, yeah. He had to be in his teens. Back then I wasn't even thinking about the age, but yeah, I'm sure I was 6. I know I was 6 or 7. Yeah. Yeah. And he just he would tell us, my sister and I, Sylvia, he would just tell us to go get on the bed.
Both of y'all?
Yeah.
Was she older or younger?
She just act older.
She was younger?
She was younger. And
younger than 6 or 7?
Yeah. And he would, of course, do what he was going to do. And so I guess in my small, finite mind, I knew it was wrong, but who do you tell? So I never forget, my mother had gave us, and we never got a lot for Christmas, but I had this black board, a little small black board. And I wrote it on there that he was messing with us. And asked me how did I know how to spell it. I don't know, but I wrote it and gave it to her.
You gave it to your mama?
And she never talked to me about it. She never questioned it, never. And then she allowed him to keep us again.
After that?
Yeah. And she never did do anything about it. I mean, if she allowed him to keep us, then she didn't do anything. Right. Whether she didn't believe me, because my sister never told, but I did. But I don't know if she didn't believe me. I don't know. I really don't know. But when that happens to you, and I've talked to so many, Maya, you'd be shocked if you listen to the stories of so many, because some people know my truth. They are able to open up to me about it. It's so many that have gone through that. And now I can see why they are the way they are. Because if you're not healed from that, and I was never healed, I went through that place of, and another thing happened, and this happened to me, but it might not have happened to anyone else, I don't know. I resented my mother. I resented her real bad because, I'm not gonna say I hated her, but I really resented her. The reason being, she was not there to help me. And being a small child, that is what I always believed, that your mother should be there to protect you from this. And she never, I felt, protected me from it.
Was she the only person that you told?
Yes.
Looking back, what do you wish she had done? Like, how do you think, how would you have felt protected? Like, just speaking to parents, like when their kids come to talk to them, what would have made you, how do you wish she had handled that?
Well, for her to have him to come back and keep us again, that made me feel unprotected because she knew what he was doing.
Put you in that position
again.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know her reasoning. And it'd been years, years that I finally told her why I had there's so much resentment against her.
Did she understand?
No,
Really?
she didn't understand it because she didn't see the wrong in it. She didn't see the wrong as far as now it's over, so you should be better now. But it's never over
Right.
to a person that's been through that unless they are healed. And I never was healed.
Did you ever ask her if that had happened to her?
I didn't, but I know it did. It did. It was a generational thing.
Right.
It did happen to her. And I'm sure back in their day, they were not able to talk about it.
Right.
So I guess she didn't know how to handle it. Because with me now, I'm like, I know how to handle it. Somebody tell me they missed my child, you
Right.
know.
Absolutely.
It's all over, you know. Everybody gonna know. But no, she never did. But coming all the way up to now, I have talked to her about it. And I forgave her and wanted a great relationship with her. But for some reason, that never happened as well until now. Because of the state she in now, we're best friends.
Right.
But that's something I always pray for. Because you want that relationship with your mother. And I could see other people's having it. And I knew I didn't. So I wanted it. And so I would ask her to, I apologized. I wrote letters because I wanted to get all this stuff out of me. And I wrote and told her what the problem was. But I don't know what it was in her that she didn't like me anymore. Didn't like me, but
It's I know there's a color purple craze right now, and I thought that the musical was wonderful. But in that movie, the Sophia's character says, you know, that a girl child is not safe in a family of men, and she spoke out about having to fight them off. And I wonder if your mom, along with a lot of other women in that era, just took it and grew up during a time where they were taught that that's just what men do and that's just something that happens that you have to deal with. And I wonder if she didn't do better just because she didn't know better.
I would say yes. I would say yes because if we look back now that we know better as far as life itself, we can say, you know, well, they did the best they could. Some had it better than others. But I look back with my father or with her now, I don't know, I didn't put a lot of expectations on my father, but I saw what he was trying to do. My dad, he never told us he loved us, but I saw things that he was doing to make me know that it was just because he loved us that he was doing those things. And he, like you said, he was doing what he saw.
Right.
But he knew this is a way to provide for my family.
And to never make excuses because it was wrong for you to be in that position. That's not something that you should have ever had to go through. And I'm so sorry that you did. But I always want to understand, like, the why behind, like, why. But I bet during that oppressive time that it was just a cycle that people felt like, get over it. You got to get through so that you can survive.
Yeah.
Just a part of surviving.
Yes.
So how did the molestation and rape influence the way you dated and what you look for in men when you started to get older, teenage years, and started to interact with guys?
That's a great question because that's where I'm at as far as want to help others. You have to get rid of all of that. Not just say it, but it has to be gone from the inside. I didn't trust me. And I didn't trust them on this end, but I thought if I had sex with you, you'll love me. So I went from that not trusting to if I say yes, then you'll love me. Because see, that's what I was lacking.
The love part.
I lacked love. And from all of that, because if you start having resentment, then you lose that love because you don't think people love you. I didn't think my mother loved me. If she did, why did she allow it?
Right.
And then it just trickled in on through my life. It was like I lived a life of wanting to be loved. And so it wasn't too long ago either that I realized, even with guys, if they just want you for sex, then they don't love you.
Right.
It's just a matter of, I'm going to be fulfilled. They don't even really care about you.
Right.
They just want to be fulfilled. And when do you come to that place of saying, no, I mean more to myself than that?
So you feel like what you experienced put a huge void in there, just going through the experience, and then the way that it was handled after you told your mom left you with a void, and you searched for that in the love from men.
Yes. And I can take it a little further, even with my marriage.
Okay.
My husband, my ex, that was the thing that he said he couldn't handle about me because I never was healed. So when I came into a marriage, not trusting a man, not even trusting a man, then what am I doing? I'm just in here going through the flow.
How old were you when you married him?
19.
Okay, so y'all
married
started
young.
dating pretty early.
We wasn't dating.
Oh, okay.
It was a thing where I had got pregnant. And I had got pregnant at 16. Like I had told you earlier, I got pregnant at 16. That was all by itself a nightmare.
Was that him?
No.
Okay.
Teacher. Everybody know who don't know teacher. But anyways,
Right.
I got pregnant with her. And the guy, actually, when I told him I was pregnant, he literally didn't want me anymore.
So y'all were going steady, and then out of the blue, he didn't want
me anymore. And so, and then he made a statement one time. He said, well, if you want me, then I want the child. And I was like, you know what? I don't want you.
Right.
So you don't need to worry about her. She's going to be taken care of. So I got pregnant with her, which is, and everybody helped me take care of her. And then the second time I got pregnant was with Demetrius. And then at that time, my dad was like, you can't just be bringing babies up in this house, So that's when he said I had to get married. So it wasn't a marriage where we were just dating in love and wanted to be together forever. It was a marriage on, I got pregnant. And I couldn't live with mama and daddy any longer.
And he was willing to...
Oh, yeah. No, I'll never take that from Willie. Because he was and still is, a great father. He just wasn't the husband for me. And and he told me, he said, you got too much baggage of what happened to you, because he knew. He said, you got too much, and that's what was causing our marriage.
Were you friends with him? Do you feel like y'all were friends?
No.
Okay.
We just met at Aunt Bobby's. And it went from there. But, and then I just happened to end up pregnant.
And since your daddy said you had to get married, he stepped up and he said, okay.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where it was like that.
Yeah.
It was like, well, you got a pregnant, so I guess he had some pressure on his end too to do it.
Yeah. So.
And y'all just tried to make the best of it?
Make the best of it for 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
25 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
But I was like, I always would say, one day we're going to fall in love. That's what I kept hoping. One day we're going to fall in love. But I'm a better wife material now than I was then. Because I had to be healed. And I used to always tell him, I don't know how to be healed. And when I would try to trust him and share with him things that I was feeling, he didn't know either. So he would just, when he get mad, he would just say all these things back to me in a negative tone.
So then you didn't want to share with him anymore?
I went back in the box to come out no more.
Right.
And then with all the other stuff he started doing, I just didn't have the fight in me any longer. So I just gave it up.
So overall, your experience of marriage was, did you have like ups and downs? Was it mostly down? Like, what would you say? Like, how would you describe your marriage?
I'm gonna tell you a couple things. I enjoy marriage. I really do. That's why I'm always looking at y'all show, because my next husband's gonna be gonna be ready.
Get ready.
Yeah, because I always listen to what I didn't know. And I think that's a lot to do with marriages today. It's not, don't nobody think being divorced is easy. And I mean, know,
I know,
it's
I've been
not
divorced.
easy. And then with children, it's even harder, because your kids start going through things as well, because all they knew was us together.
Right.
But I love marriage. I do. And
What types of things do you like about it? Like, what did you, it kept you here for 25 years.
Yeah.
So what did you love about it?
I'm gonna tell you, it was my kids, and I think and I told someone this the other day. Don't let your kids be your focus. And I think I heard it on your show as well, because I thought, not knowing any better, that I was supposed to raise my children. You grown, you know what you're doing, you know.
Right.
So, but I found out I was leaving him out. Because it was all about my babies.
I feel you.
It was.
It's hard not to be.
It's hard.
It is.
But I didn't know anything about the date nights and the time together with your husband. I didn't know about that.
You thought as long as you had sex with him sometime, that he ought to be all right.
That's it. As long as I
You
never
cook some
said
food.
no. If I didn't say no, you should be good. You know, that's what I thought marriage was all about. But now I love it that people like you and others are putting out a lot of material information. I always say it's just no reason for divorce anymore. There's really not. Because there's too much information out here.
Too much help.
It's a lot of help.
But I'm going to tell you, the books, the shows, none of it works if you don't.
If you don't want it, yeah.
Yeah, the people have to be willing, and it has to be both of them.
Yes, yes.
Because a lot of times we run into couples where one of them really, really, really wants to fight for the marriage, and the other one just wants it to be better.
Yeah.
But it won't get better unless two people are willing to put in the work. But
And find out what's causing you not wanting to. Because like I stated to you earlier, I had to get rid of all of that growing up stuff.
Yeah.
I had to. It had to go for me to be where I am now. It had to.
What gave you the courage to leave once you knew, okay, my marriage needs to end? This is not healthy for either one of us. What gave you the courage to leave? And did people try to get you to stay longer than you should have?
No one tried, because one thing about me, my family didn't even know we was divorced. I'm not one. I just
You don't go out there like that.
I don't go out there like that. I think a marriage. I mean, yeah, you might have a friend that can help in some things, but I just wasn't out there telling my family about my life like that. But what gave me the courage to leave? First, we was both in the church, Christian ministers. So that's what kept me there, kept me in it. Because I kept thinking,
Waiting for it to get better.
yeah, because what people gonna think? You're a minister. How dare you be, divorced and stuff. I kept worrying about what people was gonna think.
Right.
But I was miserable. And so one day we had started, Willie had left home and started going somewhere else, and he was with somebody else. But anyway, we started going to this church. I was doing everything to try to see what could be salvaged. So I left my church and went with him just to see would that help. But I didn't see any change in him. And so the pastor would be trying to talk to us. And one day I said, I'm done. I'm done. I have no more fight in me for this. And that was it. Once I said I was done, there was no more fight.
He didn't fight beyond
He
that?
didn't fight.
Do you think he knew that it was just time?
he had somebody else anyways. So, I don't think with him.
The whole time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The whole 25 years?
Well, the ones I knew about was when he would leave us. The first time because one thing I told my husband from the beginning, because I saw it in my mother and father so much, respect me enough. If you choose to be with someone, please leave me. Don't come get in my bed knowing you just was with someone else.
Right.
I said, don't do that to me. And that's what he would do. When he decided to be with someone, he would come and leave us. He would leave us.
Pack his stuff?
Pack his stuff. And just leave us. And stay
Would
gone.
he still pay bills?
Yeah. Now, he would make sure the bills was paid.
Okay.
But he would just leave. And he would stay gone 3 or 4 months, come back. And
How did you take him back?
the first time I wanted him back.
Okay.
I really did.
You
wanted
missed him.
back. I missed him. And I just let it go. He back. And so that
Did you talk to
happened.
him while he's gone?
It was a lot of dialogue, but it was a good dialogue.
Okay.
The first time was back in the day when Waiting to Exhale was out.
Right.
So I just wanted to burn his clothes. I wanted to do it all.
I understand. I understand.
I wanted to do it all. As a matter of fact, I was going to do it. I was going to do it. Oh, gosh, I was going to do it. Tracy McCoy, my sister-in-law, she called me. I had great friends, that would call me. And she was like, Betty, don't do it. I said, I'm going to just go up yonder where he at.
I'm about to burn
and I'm
it
about
up.
to burn
I'm
them
about to
all
set it
up.
off.
I was going to set them all right there. I was. But anyway, I didn't do it because I listened to her. But, yeah, and after that one, he stayed around. And when I was so mad with him, and I wanted to talk about it. He never would. He said, listen, it's over and done with. I don't want to hear it anymore. And that's just the way he was.
He wanted you to be done with the fact that he left.
Yeah.
Right.
And
did you even have a warning, or did he just come home and he would be like...
No, this is going to be a little gross, but literally, I had came home from work and I was sitting in the bathroom. We all go to the bathroom first thing. And he came in there with his box of clothes.
And that's how you found out he was leaving?
Yes. That was the first time.
And he said, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm going with this woman.
Well, he didn't actually go stay with her at that time. He went
Okay.
to his mother's house.
Okay.
And from his mother's house, because she wasn't going to put up with all that. So then he went and moved in with her. Yeah. And that was the first time. So we stayed together for about 6 months. And my friend, one of my friends, she told me her husband and Junior, or Willie, they are good friends, they cousins as well. And she said, Willie done moved a woman to Anderson because he was driving trucks. He moved a woman to Anderson. I said, what? So, yeah, he had met this woman in Ohio driving trucks. And he moved her to Anderson and put her up in a hotel, in a apartment. And I don't know how long she had been here before he packed his clothes and moved again.
Right.
Yeah. And after that one, it was like I lived in this place of, oh my God, when is he gonna do it again? And I think that was a lot that pushed me towards, I'm done.
When he came back the second time, did y'all have a conversation? Like, how did that even go?
No, we never had one the second time.
He just came back and you just let him come back?
Willie Hunt was that person that you only discuss when he wants to discuss. And that was it. When he said something is over, it's over.
So when he said, I'm back, and that's the way it is, then you like, oh, I guess he back.
Yeah.
So what about like your companionship while he's gone? Were you just having to be by yourself?
I was.
By choice?
By choice.
Okay.
Because I'm a firm believer, and I never wanted my kids to say, well, Mama, I saw you doing such and such, or look what... I never wanted my kids to say that. So I still had to be that person that if I disciplined them, they couldn't throw anything in my face. And I was like that up until they all moved out. I mean, now after they moved out and I'm out there by myself, I started making real bad choices. I really did. It was bad choices, but it was
Like
choice
in men or just in life?
in me.
Right.
And one day I was asking God, I said, Lord, why am I doing this? He said, you coming from a place of hurt. And that was why I was making those choices. And the last guy that I was with, he told me, he said, Betty, I'm not ready for this life of living for God. And so that was it. After that, I started back going to church. Like, I was always going, but not going to really get into it. Just going because I know that's what I'm supposed to do. But after that, I would start back going to church. And from that day to this one, I've been going.
Right. Been in there.
In there full time, as far as I will not be a hypocrite as a Christian. I won't be. Because I fear God that much. I'm either going to be all the way for him or not at all.
Well, that brings me to the next question, because I know I lost my mama, and it was the most traumatic thing I've ever lived through. And I don't know if you know Dr. Alan Stewart or Lauren Stewart that passed away recently. She worked at a high school. But he described in one of his posts exactly what I felt. I'm going to read what he said. And he said, I never lost my belief, but my faith wavered. And I still believe God. I believe in his power. And I knew he was able, but I was afraid of having faith that he wouldn't come through for me, because I felt like he let me down when he took my mama. And so it's taken me years to get through that part. So I know that you've experienced loss. And how has your faith and belief play a part in your healing journey?
With TJ, I knew God had just let me know that she wasn't going to be on earth a long time.
He communicated it. He prepared your heart for that.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, TG was her daughter.
And so when it actually happened, it was a shock, because she was back. She would go to the hospital, but she always would come back. And that last time when she went, she didn't come back. It was a shock that day, because I was not expecting her not to come back home. But when God tells us, he give us a peace that we can't even understand. That's what he has given me.
That's what he did for you.
That peace I can't even understand. Now, do I still have days? I don't even cry like I used to. I used to cry all of the time.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, it was like, one thing, God, he has a sense of humor, right? I had no one to cry with. I was at home by myself, living in Athens. And every day I would go home and just cry, because I had nobody to talk to. My sister, but, you want somebody to put your arms around you and just say everything is going to be good. I didn't have that. No one but God. And I think this is his sense of humor. He wanted it like that. He wanted me to depend on him. Yeah.
Because it's like a parallel almost what you experienced as a child and as a teenager. You did turn to the men and look for comfort there. And so given an opportunity now, you turn to him.
Yes.
And he proved himself to you.
He proved himself.
What did that look like? Like what is that, when you turn to him, what did you do? Were you just praying? Were you meditating? Like, what does that healing journey even look like?
I'm not going to say I was just praying all the time. I tell people that I don't do that. I pray, but I don't pray like all the time.
Right.
I don't do that. It was just, I'm always having conversation. I guess if you call that prayer.
Like he's your friend. You talk to your friend.
Yeah. And I was so honest. Lord, I'm hurting right now. Now, if you don't want me to hurt, if you want to dry up these tears, then you're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And he would do it.
Oh, that's good.
Whatever it was, no matter what it was, if I asked him, he would just do it instantly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's going to be wonderful for people that are going through things, not just like losing children, but any grief.
Yes.
Because it's so hard.
It's hard.
I mean, it's hard.
It's really hard. And I was sharing with someone just the other night, they was having a few problems with the situation that's going on today. Mm-hmm. And I was like, but we don't never understand God's perfect plan in all of these things. I wish we could. I wish we understood death. I wish I could understand why a baby would die and a grown-up would live. I don't know.
Right.
We would never understand. But if that person sacrifice caused someone else to live and turn their life over to God, wasn't that a great sacrifice?
Right.
Because it made people think,
And we all have days that are numbered. We don't know how long we're going to be here. But our goal should be that when he says that today is the last day, make sure that you've made the decisions, that you have prepared to be with him.
That's it. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, the thing is, are you ready to go? That's all that matters now. Is we're going to see a lot more deals.
Mm-hmm. And like what my pastor say, you might not be ready to go, but are you prepared to go?
That's it.
Like you might have a desire to live longer. I feel like, if my mama hadn't been so sick, she would have loved to live to see my kids.
Oh, yes.
So she might not have been ready, but she was prepared.
Yes. And boy, was she.
So I love myself some Dorothy. To go.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think some people are ready to die, but most people are, they want to live. You're not ready, but have you taken the necessary steps to make sure that everything's good with you afterwards? Yeah.
And see, that's what I always say. I don't want to die. I want to live.
Right.
I enjoy life.
Exactly.
I really do. I really enjoy life. But I was telling someone just this morning, if God decide that he want me to leave, I don't want nobody trying to pray me back.
Right.
Because who want to be here?
Right. Once you get a taste of that, they wouldn't come back for nothing.
I never could. T used to say all the time, because Pastor, my Pastor Frederick V, he would always pray for people, right? And she would say, goodness, every time I want to leave, he always praying me back.
Nothing.
But
that thing was a mess.
Yes, honey. But we don't want to be we don't want to die, nobody, but we don't want to come back either, I don't think. Somebody's made a comment said, do you think Lazarus was mad with Jesus when he brought him back? What you doing? But we all gonna do it, whether we want to or not. One way or the other, we're gonna leave this earth.
So conversations with God, just talking to him about, you're pouring out your heart about how you feel and asking him to come through. Were there any other things that were pivotal in your healing journey? I know when you said you had to heal from what happened to you when you were a child and repairing the relationship with your mom. How did you do that? Like, what steps did you take? Were there books that you read? Did you... Okay, talk to me about it.
Let me explain.
Talk to me.
Listen, God have not allowed me to learn nothing from other people.
Okay.
Except be in a place where I can know who he is. Does that make sense?
It does.
I had to know who he is as a person to me. Personally.
Seeking God.
And
all other things will be added unto you.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what I've learned. That's how I've learned to heal. That's how I've learned everything. How to have peace. Just knowing who God is. And that's the scripture, right? Know who I am. And that's what he says. Before you come to him, you got to know who he is. And that's, if any scripture can sum up my life, that's it. I had to know who God was.
How did you learn more about him?
Now that's the part I do seek a lot on.
Okay.
Because I want to know.
Okay.
Being at the right place. I'm telling you something.
Like church home?
Church.
Okay.
If you're under someone which I am, always was. Even his dad only taught us what he knew. I mean, to teach us, because it was too much for us to learn at the time. But now, with Pastor Frederick, God is really pouring some great jewels in him. And those jewels is what he pouring into us.
Good.
Yeah. And then I listen to others.
Yeah.
You know, I listen to that, of course, but I listen to others. Anyone that, whatever my soul is searching for, then God always allow me to find that person on YouTube.
Right.
You know, like I said, I mean, I really listen to you all, because if I want a great marriage, I need to know what that's like.
So you go and seek the knowledge of God.
I do.
Okay.
A lot.
And from that, you're able to form a relationship so that you can call on him to learn, grow, heal.
Yes.
And he walks you through the process.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes. And I have just as many problems as everyone else. But
You know what to do.
I know
you
what
know
to
who
do.
can fix them.
Yeah.
You know the problem
I
fixer.
know the problem solver, and I really don't feel them. That makes sense? I can be going through something, but when I start feeling it, then God said, I'm too low. Come on back up here where I'm at. You're too low. Because anytime you can feel something that you are going through, then you have taken your eyes off God. You trying to fix it.
God got you spoiled.
Yes.
He like, I'm about to tell my dad about that. He gonna fix all that.
I be telling people that all the time.
I'm about to tell him. He ain't gonna take kindly to that.
Because, you know, the way you treat your father on earth is the way you're gonna treat your heavenly father. Really, you are. And I respected my father on earth. Not because he scared me, and I didn't want no whooping, but it just, I don't know, I had that respect for him, you know, and that's how I am towards the Father, my heavenly Father. I have so much respect for him.
And you know he gonna see about you.
Yeah, I love him so much. He got me spoiled rotten.
Right.
He really does.
Right.
And I love it. I've never been spoiled. I love it.
So, you know, you like, I know I ain't got nothing to worry about.
I don't.
So, yeah, he don't even like me having this pressure.
Man,
so I'm about to go tell him.
I'm
and
gonna
he
tell
about to
him.
take care of it.
Yes, really.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yes. That's the real smile.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the light is behind your smile.
Yes.
It's him.
It's him.
So any man that's interested in you, I mean, he already, look, this is one of God's chosen. You can't come over here with no foolishness because he don't play by Sister Betty.
I've turned him down because of that. You know, not that I think I'm so much, but I am to God.
He thank you so much.
Yes.
And he not about to just let anybody have you.
He's doing a lot to get me into the place he want me.
He ain't gonna sign off on the foolishness.
And I have to deny a lot.
I bet you do.
Oh, yes. I deny a lot. I mean, in the natural, whatever, I deny a lot because if he tell me no, then it's a no.
Well, tell me this then. So, are you dating right now?
No.
Okay, so describe the type of man that you're interested in this season of your life. And so, if somebody's watching, like, they would know, how can they shoot a shot with you?
Ooh.
Like, what?
It's not really, okay.
What are you even looking for?
I thought I was looking, but the Bible tells when a man find a woman. So I stopped trying to really look.
Okay.
I look, but I don't.
But you'll know when you see it, right?
I know.
What does that look like?
First, he just got to have a relationship with God. I'm not saying it has to be to my level. It can be further than where I am. But at least have a relationship with God. Or want one. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact I know where God is taking me, and I don't want no one that's going to pull me in any ways backwards. I just don't want that anymore. Stable.
You mean financially?
Yes.
Like on his own. He needs to be self-sufficient. Okay.
Yes, he need to be stable. Definitely.
Does he need his own house and car and all of that
He
stuff?
need that.
Okay.
He really does.
I see.
Because I want to go into yours.
Right.
But and know where he's going. He need to have a plan. And we can sit down and talk about it. But I need a best friend. That's something you asked me about my husband. That was something I didn't have. but I need my best friend.
What types of things are you interested in? Like, what do you like to do? What would he look for compatibility purposes? What types of things are you interested in?
You know what? Because I didn't do a lot, I'm interested in anything.
You want to try some
I
stuff?
try some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm open. I'm open to try stuff. I love to travel.
Okay.
I love travel.
What's one place you would love to go to?
Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to
You
go
want to see it in
I
person?
want to see it in person, yes. And another place I'm hoping to go one day, this is off, but you know, I'm a beautician. C.J. Walker, the one that started all this, her home is in New York.
Okay.
That's just a place that's on my bucket list.
You want to go to New York City?
I want to go to wherever her home
Where
is
was her home?
But you know she's not there anymore.
Right. But where she was raised and stuff?
Yeah.
Do they have it like a museum type?
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody bought it and fixed it up. Because, you know, her house was like the White House. Mm-hmm. You know, she was the first black millionaire.
Right.
So that intrigued me all by itself.
So you're like, I want to see it.
Hey, I need to see this woman's
Okay.
house and what. You know, because she went through, like, if anyone ever looked at the documentary on her, she went through a lot to get where she was at.
Right.
But she didn't let it stop her. Mm-hmm. And that's
That gives you some motivation when you think about
that's
it.
volume. That's volume.
Do you still do hair outside of teaching?
I will if someone asks me.
Because I was about to say, is that something you want to let the people know
Now-
that they can contact you to do that? Or you already got your clientele that you'll do if they...
I would do anybody that asks me because it's a love.
Mm-hmm.
I really, I love it. I go to, what me man shop name now?
Real Elite?
Real Elites, yeah. I will do it there because it's just appropriate. As far as the chair, the bowl and all of that stuff is better than going over sink, what I used to
Right.
do. Back when it was COVID, I would go into people's houses that wanted their hair done. But now I prefer doing it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if a man says, you know what, she's gorgeous, I love what she's saying, I am, this is what I've been looking for, how can he get in touch with you? Are you on social media?
I am on Facebook
Okay.
and Instagram. And that's it.
Okay.
And I don't have a lot of followers on Facebook
Okay.
because I don't like junk.
Right.
Yeah, I got to keep my mind pure.
So please don't come at Sister Betty unless you know this is, you ready.
Yeah, you got to be the heard from God yourself. And
You
it's
need to
on
tell
the
you.
one that should be saying that.
That's right.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming and sharing. Is there anything else that you would like to share or talk about?
You talked about my life story, and I really hope that it can help people that listen to this.
I know it will.
Because it is, like they said, what is it, gold in the end of the rainbow or whatever that saying is. It is a place that you can get to where you can let all of that go and live and be happy through whether it's molestation, whether it's rape, whether it's death. You can still be happy.
Right.
You can still be happy.
For more information about our coaching services, courses, marriage tools, events, and getaways, go to onevisionerc.com. That website again is onevisionerc.com. If you had a good time hanging out with us today and you got something out of it, go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss the next one. Like it so we'll know you enjoyed it, and share it with somebody so they can be blessed too. We'll see you next time.